will help you out. Oh, madam, relax. Farmerland don't come, we go bail you out. You want your farming to progress. Everything go they make sense with. We go give you training, we go help you. If you want your farming to progress, farming go they make sense when you join. Your livestock no go die. My brother make you join.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is you're joining in from. My name is Dr. Tumsia Memunaman Isa, and I'm the Community Engagement Manager for Farm and Lat. You're most welcome to the third episode of the Voice of the Rural Veterinarian. We've had our first two episodes where we had our first guest veterinarian from Talata Mafaraz and for State. And we also had in person of Dr. Babangida Aliu. And we also had our second guest from Bida Local Government, Niger State, in person of Dr. Adamu Bashir. For those of us who missed the first two episodes, you can watch them on the Farmalat YouTube channel, so you can be you would understand, the trajectory of this discussion. So today is our third episode, and I am happy that we're here today, right? The goal of this discussion is to basically just engage these rural veterinarians. They're actually our unsung heroes. They're the ones manning the war front. And when I mean the war front here is that they're trying as much as possible to provide quality animal health care, regardless of the resource constraints they face, the insecurity, the lack of access to diagnostic tools, and a whole lot of resistance from the community, lack of acceptance, a lot of global health issues. You talk about antimicrobial abuse, poor animal welfare practices, and what have you not, because research has shown, data has shown that you have more animals in the rural community than you have in the urban community. And unfortunately, you have more veterinary care, or let me say animal health care services in the urban settlement than you have in the rural settlement. So you find a rural veterinarian just single-handedly manning a whole community, right? Not that there are no other animal healthcare providers, but when you talk about professionals who work within the ethical framework of providing veterinary care, there are usually a few of them, or let me say even one in a community. I would like to welcome our third guest veterinarian today, in person of Dr. Isa Aminu Isa, who is who has a veterinary outlet in Rogo local government area of Kano State. The name here is Nachako Veterinary Complex. And we're going to be meeting Dr. Isa today, gain insight on who he is, his scope of business, his opportunities and his challenges, and how we can, together from this conversation, make out how we can come on to collaborate collectively to improve quality service provision. So permit me to welcome Dr. Isa Aminu. Dr. Isa Aminu, you're most welcome. Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for sparing out time to be here with us today. And the exciting thing for me is that the first three guests are all young veterinarians. Permit me, I'm not that one person who likes to talk about that younger vets, older vets. But my joy and my own joy is that I see, because the perception most people have is that young vets just want to they just want to settle in urban areas. They're not really interested in getting dirty. And when I mean dirty, doing the rural engagement. So I'm very happy to see that the first three guests are young vets, young, vibrant, and fantastic veterinarians who are community centered. People who give back to the communities. So Dr. Isa Aminu, can we meet you?
yes, welcome. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity given to me. As as you said, my name is Dr. Isa Amir Isa from Rogo Local Government, Kano State. I graduated from Usman Dampojo University, class of 2020, and I started my practice immediately because I don't have opportunity to serve. My I have been exempted from NYST service. So immediately I just jumped into practice. But before that, I what inspired me is I got experience from during my IT program while in my during my study time, which I served from yes, I served from in Gwale Veterinary Clinic. From there, I gather my experience and then the school, well, the thing I learned from school. So I gather it and start of my practice here in my local government.
Okay, so if I get you clearly, you're from Rogo local government area of Kano State.
Yes,
Okay, this is one thing I've seen that is common amongst our all the first three guests we have now, including Dr. Aminu. They're all locals from that community. So I heard that part where you said you mentioned Gwale. I'm not sure of
yes,
that data and I'm not sure of that fact, but I heard Gwale is one of the busiest veterinary clinics in West Africa. Correct me if I'm wrong.
yes, it was.
It's in Kano. I remember.
Yes,
I remember we were there on a visit during our wildlife medicine excursion, and we were told that they carry as much as 20, 30 cesarean sessions in one day. Is that true?
it may be up to, but
Um,
not every day.
Not every
Like
day, but
10,
sometimes they have
yes,
scenarios like
10 to be sure that every day, at most 10, at most,
wow, wow,
at
wow.
most.
That's really
I
interesting.
even have opportunity to witness a Siberian section in dog in Gwale, where I only witnessed it once, and I
So
think
I'm
that
really
I really
like, you talked about not you were not opportune to do the compulsory 1 year
yes,
NYC, but for the fact that you did your
yes,
internship um at Gwale Veterinary Clinic, I would at least I can from the from I've had colleagues who served there who are currently working there, and we hear inspirational and challenging stories from them. So I'm quite sure that, coupled with the fact that, of course, he graduated from Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, that's quality for you. And I'm not being biased here. That's quality for you. So the mix of that, of course, would give you all the confidence that you need to start up your practice. So can you let us know what year? And Nachako, is it a sole proprietorship? Is it solely owned by you, or are you in partnership with other veterinarians or other veterinary paraprofessionals?
yes. Nachoku Veterinary Complex is owned by me. It just start off, yes, in the year 2021.
2021. So
Yes,
it's so are you the only person manning the activities, or do you
no.
have other vets you're working with?
I'm the only vet in the clinic, and there is one para vet and one casual staff.
I
Where
love this. I love this angle of having veterinary paraprofessionals on the team. All three of you, I love this inclusive system that is coming up. There is no need, we all have our roles to play, and there is no need to fight each other or to push each other out of the system. I love how you're all coming together and having veterinary paraprofessionals on board, to help you deliver this quality service. I'm currently a mentor on there is this recent project by FAO on sustainable animal health business development for veterinary paraprofessionals. So, and I'm enjoying what I'm seeing from this engagement. So that aside, so can you give us your scope of your establishment, the kind of animals you manage, and then before we delve into what your community looks like, the opportunities and the challenges. So let's take that.
okay,
Let's take that.
okay, thank you very much. Most the animal I engage with are ovine, caprine, mostly then bovine. What I mean is cattle, sheep, and goat. They are the
I was
most
about to say,
predominant animals.
let's not do the ovine
Yes,
caprine so
yes,
that people understand
yes.
the lay people because we're live on YouTube,
Okay.
so anyone
Yeah,
can be watching. Exactly.
okay. Okay. Like I said, sheep, goat, cattle, then poultry in general. They are the most animal around our locality. Then
Okay.
in tea time you can see like dogs and cats.
Hmm.
They are the
So
most
in a
animal.
day, how many cases do you handle?
At least every day, at least not less than 10. Yes, but most of the time they are house to house calls because
I was
you
about
know
to
our
ask, are
people.
they in clinic engagements of ambulatory? Do you go more? You do in clinic or
We
um?
are more of ambulatory because of the kind of the community we have. You know, with time goes on, when we are enlightening our people, we will start bringing because we are seeing like development from the community.
So what's the livestock? What's the animal community like in Rogo? Is there a huge population of animals? In, let's because it's Kano, of course, it's in the northern part of Nigeria. So we're known to have lots of livestock ranging from cattle, sheep, and goats. So what is the livestock community like? Are there a lot of animals in Rogo local government? Because of course, I would also want to know what actually
There's a lot
inspired you.
because
There is a lot of population.
what inspire I mean,
I said there are a lot of animals in Rogo local government. Hello.
the number. You mean the hello? I can hear you. You mean the number?
Not. That would be unfair to
Okay.
ask you to give me a number because
We
I'm
have
sure it
a
seems
lot
like
of
there's
animals.
different.
A lot.
Hmm.
I cannot even. We have in thousands. We,
I
me
in
alone, I
thousands.
cannot satisfy all the people that own animals. That yes, I'm very sure.
Wow. So do you have
Because
mostly?
most of the time you have to get very like in ambulatory service. Like if you go for ambulatory services in Riga, where you go and kill sheep out, I mean cut it. On that day you can treat about 100 to 150 animals. So we have many Riga settlements in our local government, including even because Rogo is located around Makarfi, which is Kaduna,
Hmm.
and the Kafur local government is Kafur, which is Kaduna State. So even that villages, they used to call us for the services. So we are dealing with a huge number of animals,
So
large
you're not
number of
just
animals.
servicing Rogo local government, but you're also servicing
Yes, if
surrounding
you have a
local
call,
governments.
yes, if you have a call, even border local government, we are rendering our service to them.
Wow. Are you the only
That why I
veterinarian?
tell you,
Are you the only veterinarian in that community?
yes, for the whole local government, I'm the first one. I mean, I'm the only
Where,
one. So most of the
okay,
people are
but
para.
I really need to ask this. Where are the government vets?
We, in Kano State, we have like in our local government, we have only one veterinarian that is civil servant, and it includes almost four local government for him, and he's not coming like every day, or even a month will pass, he just only come once, or if there is a report of any outbreak, so if you come and sometimes you not even come, you just call and ascertain the level of the damage or the level of this, whether it is harm to people or to the animal, then you may decide to come over. Right?
Hmm. Over. So
And
this is really challenging. This is a huge challenge. You talked about your team. It's just you and one veterinary
yes,
paraprofessional and then
para,
a casual worker. So I'm trying to wrap
yes.
my head around how you're able to manage this number of animals, right? But we'll get there.
So
So do
that's
you
why
have
I tell you, we cannot satisfy whole the community. we have veterinary clinic in our locality, but now it has been replaced, converted to I mean human hospital.
Ah,
So
where is the One Health approach? Where is the One Health approach? The last veterinarian I spoke to said the veterinary clinic in his community has been
I
converted to a police
didn't
station.
I didn't know when the and our own is converted to human hospital.
Please,
And I'm telling you this,
our viewers,
I over, over 30 years. I'm I'm 30 years old, or at least more than that. I didn't know when that veterinary clinic is functioning. I didn't know. I just had this veterinary clinic and it's been converted to human hospital, which I know the time. But before the clinic has been closed.
I can see somebody, Musbahu Yahuza Umar is saying he's attesting to the fact that yes, you're the only veterinarian in their local government. Oh my God. Our dear viewers, if you have questions, we can see your live questions. If you have questions and comments, please kindly drop them in the just drop them. We'll be able to read them on our screen and answer so that we get
Yes.
this conversation more engaging. So, Dr. Isa, single one question: did you find yourself studying
Okay.
veterinary medicine by chance or by choice?
By choice.
You wanted to study veterinary medicine.
Yes. I choose it by myself.
A round of applause. So, was it your community that inspired you?
No. My community.
So, what
The
inspired you?
was I grow and I love agriculture. So during my junior secondary school, I love agriculture much. Mostly the animal part. So when I was in my senior secondary school, I I heard about veterinary, and me too. My interest is more of animal. So I just say this is my type. This is the way I'm going. So firstly, my first jam I I choose veterinary medicine, which I didn't I didn't opportunity to being admitted into the school because I have some problem in my result. So my my I think my second jam I didn't choose veterinary profession because I start thinking this thing I cannot get it. But then my third jam I just feel Sokoto and choose veterinary. While I already study I started study at FCE where I want to study NCE in education something like that. So before I even finished level one, I had privilege to get admitted into Usman Nampodio University to study veterinary. So that's where I started because I love the profession. That's why I say, inshallah, I will be the first veterinarian in my
I can't
locality.
stop smiling. I can't stop smiling. You know, this is really inspiring and this is very, encouraging to hear that. You know, most people who study veterinary medicine either wanted to study human medicine or they wanted to study pharmacy or medical lab
Yes,
science, and then they found themselves in veterinary medicine. I actually also I wanted to study veterinary medicine myself. So I'm happy I remember I put my first choice as veterinary medicine. And then my second choice also, I think I put veterinary medicine. I can't remember, was it my mom or my dad that told me to let me just calm down. Let me just put maybe biochemistry or microbiology as your second choice because I was all out. Me, I just wanted to be a vet doctor, right? It was something that has always intrigued me, and that nobility in the profession is second to none, right? So thank you so much for being a veterinarian by choice, and not just being a veterinarian by choice, remembering your locality, remembering the challenges and the needs of the animals in your community to go back to provide services for them. So let's take this. What's your normal day like? What's your day like? We have a lot of comments coming. Zainab Yusuf is saying, hello, well done, Dr. Isa, more grease to your elbow. So a lot of commendations are coming in. But we also take questions, we also take comments and your thoughts, please. You can also share how you want to hear so that we can improve on our question and the conversation. So we bring to you what you need to know and what you need to hear. So Dr. Isa, what's your day like? What's your normal day like as a rural veterinarian in Rogo, local government area of Kano State?
Daylight as in I didn't get.
So,
Hello?
like, what's your day like when you wake up in the morning? How does your day play out as a rural veterinarian? In the morning, do you start with calls immediately after the call of Fajr? Or, like, how's your day? How does your day play out?
Immediately after I woke up and I pray around 6 or to 6 or to 7, I will go to a farm nearby my my community to go and visit and check for the health status of the batch of the farm because I'm working with a farm around nearby our community. So
Okay,
that's my
you're
first
like,
thing.
is it like a resident veterinarian?
You say?
Are you a resident veterinarian in that farm?
Yes, I am. I'm the one in
Okay.
charge, like for the normal there's any medical activities and when the body are not well or they are okay or they are ready to anything they are concerning veterinary for the pets and animals inside the farm. I'm the one in charge.
Okay.
After that
Okay. Go
one,
ahead.
I will come.
Go ahead.
Eh?
I
After
said
that
go
one,
ahead.
okay. After that one, I think by 8 or 8:30, I will come and open my clinic where we where I stay. If there's any call, we'll attend, or if there's any patient, we will attend him.
So, how accessible are you? 12 hours, 24/7. How accessible are you to your community?
Okay. Most of the time, when I start off by 8:30 to 9, then most of the time I'm closing by 5. But if there's a call, I will attend to it
Have
anytime.
you received any call at odd hours? When I say odd hours, midnight, very early in the morning.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I,
And
I
are you
even
available?
have,
Are you available to answer those calls?
yes, I'm available. Even my father asked me, where are you going in the night? I say, somebody that called me will attend to his animal.
You're giving me that
So,
Dr. Paul's vibe. Do you know Dr. Paul?
Dr.
Do
Ford,
you know Dr. Paul?
I had a, I think have you make a session with him?
No,
Did
I
you make
watch
session
his.
with him?
No. Dr.
Okay.
Paul is a
Dr.
veterinarian.
Paul of Zaria?
No, Dr. Paul, P-O-L. He's a foreign, he's white. I'm not sure what country. I don't want to give false information.
I
But
didn't know.
if you watch his shows, right, you're going to be inspired. Like you would want to do nothing um, else. You want to do nothing else. You'll be inspired to help animals, both inpatient and on the field. Dr. Paul is a renowned veterinarian with amazing years of experience, and he has this. He's his level of impact in his community, right? Is just it's amazing, right? So when I heard that part where you said they call you and your dad is like, "Where are you going?" and you're like, an animal needs me or a livestock farmer needs me. That's like that's one thing that keeps you going, I'm sure. And what this thing just says is just passion. That's all. There is nothing more than that. Just passion, right? Just passion to
Yes,
to help your community. So what can we talk about? You can see he's a rural veterinarian, right? It seems where you are is very
yes.
hot. Don't mind me on a lighter note. I can see you fanning yourself. I can see you fanning yourself. Don't mind me. That's on a lighter note. So, what are your challenges like? What are the major challenges you're currently facing in your community in terms of
Okay.
service delivery, in terms of client relationship? What's generally what are the challenges? Don't limit it. Your general challenges currently. What are you facing?
My general challenges is now accessibility to diagnostic equipment. And that's the first one for me to treat animal accordingly. Then concerning client is how you can like the how you can how, I mean how you like between you and client and consider like what can I say this?
Ah, Doc, if it means
Okay,
to speak Hausa, don't worry, I'll translate it. Say it in Hausa, it's fine. Say it in Hausa, it's very fine.
okay. Then before that, then how can you between you and client align with him so that that client agree that to operate on his animal and sorry, I have no
We can hear you. Though I think your hand is covering the screen, but we can hear you.
okay.
Yes.
Yes, how can you liaise with the client so that when you brought the animal, you will tell him the cost of the operation that you carry on the animal, that you are first challenge on the animal. Because I have experienced my first again, my first engagement with the client is we are going with a parabet. So when we go there, the parabet, the client talk with the parabet. So me, I don't know what they talk. She just say, please doctor, check this animal. I check it and I don't, I do the treatment. Then he said, what is your charges? I said, okay, charge me. Then he said, I think I just administered 2 injections for the animal. Then he said, give him 30 naira. I
Give him
said,
how
me,
much?
I 30 naira. I say, wait. How much do you buy this syringe? He said, he said, ana tare. Na ce, kai ba wani ana tare.
Ba wani ana
He
tare
said,
wallahi.
wallahi wallahi. Na ce, ba ka gani a gaban gaba na so syringe ne. I just buy the syringe right in front of you. I think that time is 30 naira.
Let's wait for Dr. Isa to come back. I think his network is hanging now, but I'm sure he'll be back. I hope we got that last part. He treated an animal and he paid the client paid him 30 naira. I'm trying to think of the cost of 30 naira in conversion in dollars. I think that would be less than we should be talking about peas. I'm not very sure of the exact amount right now, but even the syringes right now are going for between 50 to 100 naira, right? And we're talking about somebody being paid 30 naira for handling an animal. So that's not really an encouraging. That's not really an encouraging step, you know. But in the rural community, these are very common challenges you face, right? Even encouraging the animal owners to open up to you, to warm up to see you as a professional, because of course, the veterinary profession for a long time has been in the hands of, I don't want to use, I'm trying to be careful with my words here, but they've been in the hands of the wrong people for a long time. So when you come in with your professionalism and trying to do it in a different way, they just don't understand. And of course, times are changing, things are changing. It's not business as usual. We have a lot of challenges we're battling now. There's a lot of advocacy and enlightenment going on. So by the time you start talking about okay,
God, relax. Farmerlands don't come, we go help you out. Oh, 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 madam, relax. Farmerlands don't come, we go bail you out. You want your farming to progress. Everything go they make sense with. We go give you training, we go help you. If you want your farming to progress, farming go they make sense when you join. Your livestock no go die. My brother make you join.
This message is brought to you by Farmerlands, providing health care for livestock owners and their livestock.
We're still waiting to have Dr. Isa back. This, like the last episode I was telling you, those are the few challenges that rural veterinarians experience. Even the network service within that, all those rural settlements are not the best you can get. But at the end of the day, we still need to get this conversation going, and we need to get as much information to help us gain insight on what is even going on. You know, we just know that there are veterinarians in the rural community. What they do, we don't know. How they do it, we don't know. All the life-threatening situations, exposure to, zoonotic diseases, and, exposure to. I remember, I think the first guest, Dr. Babangida, you mentioned a day he was on a farm and they heard the news of bandits coming from the other side of the town. And he was still there because the bull was bleeding. And all he wanted to do was save that animal. Me, I don't need to say more than that. I'm not sure, but that was very, very brave of him. It changed my thoughts, Sha. I felt very guilty because in my head, I'm not thinking. I live in Kaduna State. Kaduna is a state in the north western part of Nigeria. And I remember when this insurgency was at its peak, I had to let go. If you're not living within town, I cannot help. Honestly, that's the truth. I'm not proud to say that, but these are just a few challenges we face. But to know that there are people who want to do this thing regardless, it's inspirational. And I hope that younger vets are listening in and are getting some encouragement and a reason to want to go back and give to your community. You identify a problem in a community and you see yourself as someone who can provide a solution. If not all, you can start something, right? And then what you've started will give, it will give a foundation to every other thing, or every other collaboration that would come, that would come up to support that community. So for the government in all of these states, rather than even if you don't want to employ veterinarians, adequate number of veterinarians to man the animal health sector in your communities, you can partner with these private veterinarians because the government needs to provide the platform.
This message is brought to you by Farmerlands, providing health care for livestock owners and their livestock.
It's ODJ. Share you like us, your chicken, they die anyhow. Share you like us, your fish, they die anyhow. You don't tire to the fumigato. You don't tire to the lose money. Yeah. It's Farmerlands. Don't worry, my brother, you go get a lot. It's Farmerlands. All the sickness for your farm go end at last. God, relax. Farmerlands don't come, we go help you out.
Have you shopped your favorite dog food today? Have you checked farmalert.shop? Hurry if you have not to www.farmalert.shop. Remember, we offer convenience at zero cost. Have you shopped your favorite dog food today? Have you checked farmalert.shop? Hurry if you have not to www.farmalert.shop. Remember, we offer convenience at zero cost.
I guess our guest vet is having issues um, with his network. Let's pray and hope that he's able to come back in. He's finding it very difficult to connect back. So for those who are watching, sending your questions, your comments and thoughts. So let me just keep the room engaged. My dear veterinarians, what do you think about the recent anthrax outbreak the recent anthrax outbreak in Ghana, in the, neighboring neighboring countries? I'm particularly very concerned and worried as a veterinarian and a One Health enthusiast. We're currently battling a lot of other zoonotic diseases that we don't even pick up because, of course, lack of I'm trying not to be too harsh, but I think I just need to say it the way it is. We, of course, know that we don't have a proper disease reporting and surveillance system. So, and if we don't have this, then how can we be prepared for when this disease outbreaks occur? So my major concern now is, like, today I was just thinking out very loud, and I'm like, do we even have a document, a strategy document on how to prevent transboundary animal diseases from coming into the country? Is anybody manning the borders? I know they say our borders are porous, but I think I literally have been hearing this from the day I started hearing. Right? I started hearing and comprehending. Our borders are porous. So there's what they're just trying to say is they cannot control the inflow and outflow of animals from countries who share land borders or even water borders or even air. I think majorly land borders. Let me be fair, right? So my fellow veterinarians, I think it's upon us now to collectively enlighten people around us, right? We expect that, of course, the government is doing the needful right now, but let us all also stand up with, I think at this point, enlightenment and advocacy. Wherever you find yourself, tell somebody something about anthrax and how they can protect themselves and their loved ones. Talk to them about how real anthrax is, because most of the times I remember there are still people that think COVID-19 was just a fuss. It was a lie. There was nothing like COVID-19, even though people were dying. So you can imagine something like that. So even now, it's going to be quite difficult to get people to believe that there's actually there's a fatal bacterial disease out there that can be transmitted from animals to humans. So it's upon us to leverage technology, to share our voices, tell it to people whether they want to hear or they don't want to hear, right? It was a very tough decision for me yesterday. I could not buy Pomo, but it's the sad reality. And not because Pomo, like, we can actually do better, right? Asking people not to eat Pomo at this point, I'm not sure if that's what we should be doing, but it's a step. I'm not sure in the right direction. It's a step. So fellow veterinarians, I can still see comments. So if you have something to say in respect, or you want to let us know what you're doing in your own community, and when I mean community, not necessarily your physical community, it could be your community of friends, community of colleagues, community of neighbors, whatever kind of community you're within, right? How are you enlightening people, and how are you pushing for One Health? Because that's what we need to do right now, to pay attention to every part of the ecosystem, not to neglect or prioritize one over the other. Each and every part of the ecosystem needs 101% attention. We need to work together to prepare ourselves for this thing to come, because there are a lot of factors now that are causing the reemergence of diseases. So it's here to stay, right? More challenges are coming, they're looming in, they're coming. This is just the beginning, right? COVID-19 came, and so because of a lot of activities, there are a lot of traveling going on right now, globalization. So, the chances of people are going into bushes to build their houses, eating what they're not supposed to eat. Nobody is concerned. Nobody is worried about the implications of their actions. So we as professionals, it's upon us to do the needful. Dr. Isa is finding it difficult to join back in. We're supposed to be here for an hour. We're more than 40 minutes gone. And why I'm not really saying much is because I'm not prepared to talk about anthrax. We came here to hear the voice of our rural veterinarian. But of course, I have to keep us engaged. So we'll wait for him for some few more minutes to see. Hopefully, we're trying to see how we can provide him with some technical support to jump back in, because I want to hear of those challenges, right, and what opportunities lie within Rogo local government, and how interested stakeholders can, jump in to work collaboratively with existing animal health professionals within a community to boost, provision of quality service, animal service, and not just service but also product. A lot of livelihoods depend on these animals, especially in the north here, where you have people who keep animals. So saving those animals and keeping them healthy is a must, right? It's a priority. So let's see. Oh, okay. I can see a question saying, "Hello, Doc. How can someone source for improved breeds of goats like Boa, Red Kalahari in Nigeria?" I'm not very sure about this, but I know there are a few farms that have good breeds of this Boa, Kalahari, and I know they're pricey. I know they're expensive, but there are quite a number of farms that have this, that keep these animals. Not that I'm sure of. I'm not very. I don't really have a lot of knowledge around this, but I know there are farms that have this animals. Let me think. Here in Kaduna, I think we have about one that I know of. Zaidi Farms. He brings in some quality, good breed goats, Boa, Kalahari, and other foreign high quality bird goats. Yep, I hope I have been able to answer that question. It's 11:55. Unfortunately, I'm not sure we were going to have Dr. Isa back. I'm not particularly satisfied and happy that we didn't get to the tail end. However, we could make arrangements to have the remaining. Oh, thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God. Dr. Isa, where did you go?
Network.
That was what I was telling them. I was forced to talk about anthrax, what veterinarians, what we're doing so far with the news of the recent outbreak in Ghana. I had to keep the community engaged before before we got you. I'm glad that you're back. Oh, you had to go somewhere to change your net to get a better coverage.
Yes.
Okay, are you sure we can get the next 20 minutes to round up.
Yeah. Inshallah, we can get the next interview.
Okay. So we were talking about the challenges you're currently facing, and you made mention of lack of diagnostic tools, and also made mention of pricing, which is common to majorly, I think, the entire veterinary circle. I know it's better in the urban regions where people are a bit more aware of the value of their animals and the value of quality animal health care. But I'm sure the people in the rural communities are still battling this particular problem. So can we take it up from there? You said lack of access to diagnostic tools and pricing. What other challenges are you facing?
Okay. You say I'm taking to my brother. I didn't hear you.
Can you hear
I didn't
me?
hear you. Yes. Now I can hear you, but what you said, I can't hear you. I didn't hear you.
Okay, I said you were talking about the challenges you currently face within the community. So you made mention of lack of access to quality to veterinary to diagnostic tools. You also made mention of pricing. Exactly, you made mention of pricing also. So can we get more of this? Can you mention more of these challenges you're facing?
More of the challenges we are facing now is in the access to diagnostic tool. So the money that we can afford that we can buy that kits so that we can render quality veterinary services. Money is also
Dr. Isa, your network does not seem to be at its best now. I'm seriously struggling to hear. I didn't even hear anything that you said.
challenges to us in our local. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, maybe
So I'm talking about
okay, let's try this. Can you turn off the camera?
okay.
Unfortunately, I think his network has also okay.
It's okay like
Let's hope this time around.
can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, talking about the money that we can get or access to any governmental loan or any non-governmental loan so that we can improve through the debt so that our services will be as quality as it will be. Then I'm saying that how can you convince the patient and the client so that you can even allow you as a veterinarian to touch his animal because time in here in our locality have that mindset.
Dr. Isa. Uh-oh. So maybe this is what we'll do, right? Dr. Isa, so that because we really want to be able, we want our audience to hear what we're saying. So it's rather than to continue with this, with this network glitch here and there, why don't we call it a day, and then we can reschedule for another time. So it's going to be, this is part 1 of episode 3, and we're going to work on part 2 of episode 3 with Dr. Isa Aminu. So Dr. Isa, this is what we'll do. We're going to round up this discussion for today because I can't make out what you're saying, and I'm sure our audience too cannot hear. So we'll round up and then have a discussion on when you have a better network coverage, and we can take up the remaining parts. We need just 30 minutes to round up the rest of the conversation. We'll just be focusing on the challenges and the opportunities, and of course your call to action as a rural veterinarian in your community. To everyone who is currently watching, thank you so much for joining, for streaming in live. Do not forget to share, like, and of course subscribe to stay updated with our content uploads. Once again, my name is Dr. Tumsia Memunaman Isa, and I'm the Community Engagement Manager from Farmalat. See you next time. So be on the lookout for the part 2 of episode 3. We will take this conversation till the end. Bye-bye and have a nice day.
Have you shopped your favorite dog food today? Have you checked farmalert.shop? Hurry if you have not to www.farmalert.shop. Remember, we offer convenience at zero cost.